Hey everybody out there in the internet world, it's your favorite revolutionary socialist, Hippinator 13, and today I'm going to be talking about, the Supreme Court making it illegal to be homeless, and this case, the Grants Pass, it was called Grants Pass, it made it illegal to sleep outside in a tent. You know what I mean? This is why we have to have armed resistance, and the Supreme Court really, they just need to be arrested, along with Congress and Wall Street and BlackRock and Blackstone and all the top, these top, you know, what is it, 2,600, 3,000, roughly 3,000 billionaires. They really just need to be arrested and put in prison, along with their political and judicial establishment. But let's dig into this a little bit here, because here's what's going on. This is when someone can no longer afford to live where they live, they and they can't, or they don't want to go to a relative or couch surf with a friend or something like that. You know what? You don't have to. You know what I mean? People have been sleeping outside in this country. You know what I mean? It hasn't even been that long ago that people were traveling across the plains in covered wagons. You know what I mean? They had to stop and build lean-tos and tents and everything like that. You know what I mean? Women were having kids out with no hospital. You know what I mean? You go down to the river or get a bucket of water or something and have a kid. You know what I mean? You didn't need any of this stuff that we got. Any of these modern conveniences we have now. But anyway, this is a market force. When people become homeless, sometimes they'll say, well, you know what, I can't afford to pay rent. I've got some money. I can't afford my rent. It's like when I became homeless, I didn't just start walking down the street. I actually went to REI and I bought like a $150 backpack with actually a hiking rucksack to carry, and I actually bought hiking stuff, and I bought, supplies and equipment and food and stuff. And I filled this I bought a $100 sleeping bag. I bought like a $300 tent. You know what I mean? This was an investment. You know what I mean? I was investing. You know what I mean? And this was a market force. You know what I mean? If you can't afford, this is what a lot of people do. They say, well, you know what? I can't afford, rent, and I can't afford a mortgage, and I can't jump through all their loops and hurdles. So I really just have no choice but to go out and get myself a tent. Move around, you know what I mean? But you'll be harassed or whatever, you know what I mean? It's in these cities and public spaces, and I've lived on beaches, and I've lived, you know what I mean? Just and you'll be harassed by police, And what this really is kind of like saying about the Supreme Court, saying that you have to, without making a law that says you have to participate in capitalism. They're just criminalizing homeless and saying, look, if you don't participate in capitalism the way that we want you to, and go to work for these vultures for pennies a day and make them extremely wealthy while you live in one of their slums, we're going to put you in jail. We're going to ticket you until we get you in jail. We'll put you in jail over and over. We'll take all your stuff. We'll seize all your property. You know what I mean? They're doing everything that we really need to be doing to them. Is the real truth about it. It's like I said, this is a market force. If there was a restaurant that, you know what I mean, and there are some restaurants that have extremely high prices, and there's a very small, I've been to them, you know what I mean, like in a Stevens over in Montebello, it'll cost you about $300 for two people to get out of that place. It's really good food, but here's the thing. It's the equivalent of the court coming along and the legislation coming along and saying, hey, if you poor people don't frequent this restaurant, you know what? We're going to put you in jail. We're going to make sure that this restaurant is, you know what I mean, that it's successful. We're going to virtually ensure their success. We're going to force people, you know what I mean, to pay their, $150 a person for a steak dinner. You know what I mean? We're going to absolutely force you to do that. It's the same thing in this housing thing. It's forcing. It's using what's called coercion. And coercion is actually a form of blackmail. It's illegal. It's absolutely 100% illegal. That's what they're doing. They're saying, you know what? If you don't participate in capitalism, if you don't go to work and rent one of our, you know what I mean, and pay our expensive, insanely expensive, out of control, impossible to live rents, we're going to ticket you. We're going to put you in jail. And this is absolutely illegal. This is absolutely why we need armed resistance. We've got to arrest, you know, Wall Street, Fed, central banks, judiciary, legislation, their police state, all of it, every bit of it. It all has to go, and we have to get in there. We have to say we are not going to accept. The only thing, all we're going to accept is for you to get out of power and for us to be in power and legislate our agenda and to do what we want. All right, people. It's about enough for today on that. Until next time, arrivederci.